Yo, it's your boy WesTheTech here to bring you another one of my personal favorite tech tips to help you as an artist grow in your craft. Now, today we're going to go over, is a music career worth it? All right. So if you're a recording artist who's possibly considering pursuing a music career, but you don't really know the ins and outs of it, or even know if it's actually worth it or not for you to pursue, then this is the perfect video for you, because in this video, I'm gonna go over everything that you need to consider before deciding to pursue an actual music career, all right? Now, before I continue, I definitely like to let you guys know about my free music business checklist that's available on my website to download right now, all right? This free tool is for any one of you guys who's looking into starting your own music business, but don't quite know where to start, right? With this free tool, you'll actually be able to identify 3 things that you could do right away to start your own music business. So if you want to grab that, you can click on the link above. I'll also leave the link in the description below, all right? Now, when it comes to whether a music career is worth it or not, I'm going to first start off by saying that decision is ultimately up to you, all right? I'm in no position to actually, make the final conclusion on whether it is worth it or not to you. But what I can do is give you a couple of things that you absolutely need to consider before you ultimately make the decision to actually pursue a music career, all right? Now, as me, a music business coach, I obviously deal with a lot of clients. I obviously deal with a lot of people who's seeking a music career, right? So this question is something that I actually hear a lot. And before I, tell them what my opinion is, I always like to ask them 3 different questions, all right? And these are the 3 different questions that I'm going to go over with you that's going to help you with your process as far as whether you want to pursue this or not. So the first question that I would ask every artist that I'm going to ask you right now is, what is your why? Why do you want to pursue a music career, all right? That is a very important question that you need to answer before you can actually identify if it's worth it or not to even pursue, all right? The reason why I say that, because the why is ultimately what's gonna make or break your motivation when it comes to actually pursuing a music career, right? If you're telling me that the why is because you want to be famous, right? Or the why is because you want to be cool or something, or the why is because you just want to make dope music, right? Those aren't good enough. Those aren't a strong enough reason to pursue a music career. Why? Because when it comes to having a music career, it is very difficult. There are a lot of times that it's going to be very stressful. There are a lot of times that you're going to be in a position that you want to quit, right? Now, when you're in that position, when you're in that headspace and you're asking yourself, why am I even doing this? And your answer is to be famous, 9 out of the 10 times, you're going to end up quitting, because that's not a strong enough reason to want to get through all of that stress, to want to deal with all of the hardships that come with actually pursuing a music career. So if your why isn't strong enough, then it's going to be very, very difficult to keep going when you have those hard times when it comes to your music. Now, on the flip side to it, let's say your why is something greater. Let's say your why is you want to provide a better life for your family. Or let's say your why is you want your music to actually touch lives, right? For me, for example, I'm a Christian hip hop artist. So a lot of my music reflects the message of God, reflects the message of Christ, right? So my motivation is to bring people closer to God. That motivation is something that keeps me going even when I'm going through the hard times when it comes to my music career. My why is strong enough to keep me waking up, to keep me marketing, to keep me grinding, to keep me going when it comes to a music artist, because my why to me is very, very important, right? So if your why isn't that important, it's easier to quit. But if your why is super, super strong, you'll fight through those days. You'll get through them. You're always going to stay motivated. You're going to align yourself with other people who can help keep you motivated and all of those different things. So again, the first question that I would ask you is, why do you want to be, or why do you want to have a music career? Why do you want to be an artist, right? That's something that you have to ask yourself before you find out if it's worth it to you or not, all right? Now, the second question that I would typically ask is the how. How do you want to have a music career? All right. Now, when I say how, I don't mean literally like how are you going to make music? Like, oh, going to the recording studio, making the songs. That's not what I mean. When I say how, I mean how are you going to go about the business of actually having a music career? Currently speaking, there's only two ways that you could go when it comes to having a music career. You can either focus on getting signed to a record label, aka being an employee of a music company, or you could go the route of being an independent artist and creating your own music business, which there you're the boss, right? And you're trying to create your own empire as an artist, right? Both of those ways, there's a lot of things that you have to deal with. And obviously both of those approaches are very different, right? And then when it comes to being signed, the hard part of being signed is being able to put yourself in a position to get the attention of a major record label, right? You gotta still put in the grind, still put in the effort, still build up a fan base, a big enough fan base so that a record label can notice you, right? Just sending them a demo isn't going to be enough, especially nowadays nowadays when it comes to record labels, right? Record labels aren't building artists anymore. They're not developing artists anymore. They're looking for artists that are already established that they could bring them to that next level, right? So you are basically, when you're going the route of getting a record label, you're basically an independent artist or an unsigned artist up until the point that they notice you and then want to offer you a record label deal, right? There's still a lot of work that has to go with that. And at the end of the day, all that work is just so that you could be an employee, right? Is that something that you want to partake in? Now, on the other side of it is the music, is being an independent artist, right? Being an independent artist always sounds better and always sounds awesome and easy because you're your own boss, right? You're going to get 100% of the profit. It's so great. You don't have to answer to nobody. All of those different things. Now, all of those things are absolutely true. However, the flip side of that is that you're going to also have to use your own money. You're also not going to have record label backing. You're also going to have to build your own network and build your own relationships with certain people so that you can grow your actual music business. Just like any other business out there, there's a lot that you have to invest into it for it to grow. You have to be in charge of your own marketing. You have to be in charge of your own distribution. You have to be in charge of everything that has to do with your music business. So being an independent artist is just as hard as trying to get signed because there's so much workload that you have to do, and you're basically making your own business, right? That is a lot that you have to deal with, from building or creating an LLC to this, to that, the third. There's so many things that is involved with actually being an independent artist. So by no means is it hard. And the thing about the independent artist, I think one of the most difficult part is for most artists is there's so much business that you have to deal with. As an independent artist, most of your days will be handling the business side of your career versus the artistic side, right? But when you're an artist, really all you care about is the artistic side, right? You just want to make dope songs, right? But the business side is going to be 90% of your workload when you're trying to be an independent artist, right? These are things that you have to consider when it comes to the how, when it comes to how are you deciding to be it. Now, if both of those options are something that you feel like you can't do, then maybe it's not worth it to you, right? If your why isn't strong enough, then maybe it's not worth it to you. These are things that you always have to keep in mind. And these are things that, like I said before, I always like to ask other artists just to really see if they really want to do this, all right? Now, the third thing outside of the why and the how is the when. When do you want to do this, right? Because that is just as important as the other two, right? If you feel like now is not the best time for you to actually be an artist, or now is not the best time for you to put that grind in, right? Maybe you're still in school, right? And you're trying to get a degree, but you're trying to be an artist at the same time. Maybe you're like, you know what? Let me finish school first and then I'll focus on being an artist. That is things that you have to factor in. Are you willing to start today? Versus, you know what, I need some more time. I need to make sure I'm in the right position. You know, I'm working this 9 to 5 right now. I'm trying to get everything right before I can really pursue it. If that's something that you wrestle with when it comes to actually starting, then that is a big mountain that you have to climb. Sometimes the win isn't even about that your capabilities. Sometimes the win is just you're afraid. Sometimes you're just not brave enough to start yet. You're afraid to start because maybe you're just afraid to fail. right? I've seen a lot of artists that want to be an artist. They want to do this, but the fear of failure is holding them back, which causes them to postpone it, which causes them to move slow when it comes to their music career because they're afraid to put all this effort into it and fail, right? That's a very real thing, but that's something that's unescapable. There's no way around that. Any dream that you're deciding to pursue in life, you're always going to deal with that same exact fear, right? So the way I look at it is there's no way you can get rid of the fear. It's a very real thing. Everybody deals with it, but that fear shouldn't stop you from trying. At the end of the day, you can still go after it. You can still do it afraid. And that the position I am now is solely because I've just got really skilled at doing things afraid. I'm usually terrified when I'm making big decisions and things like that. When it comes to my music career, I do it afraid. I do it afraid because you know what? At the end of the day, my why is strong enough. At the end of the day, my how I've already figured out, and I believe that I could do that. And my when is now. It's now, and it's going to continue to be now until I get to where I want to be, right? That's the third one, the when. When are you trying to do it? If you're trying to postpone it and you're not able to say, I want to do this right now, then it just might not be worth it to you. Because if it was worth it to you, you would be willing to do it now. Now, of course, I know a lot of you guys are thinking, okay, I want to do it now, but I don't know what to do. Well, that free checklist that I mentioned earlier is a great place to start. With that free checklist, like I said, it's going to give you 3 things that you can do right away to literally start your own music business. But that is if you want to be an independent artist. If you want to be a signed artist, I can't really help you in that department because all of my content is geared to helping independent artists, right? That is my focus. That's where I focus all of my attention. So I don't know much about being signed. I've never been signed before, right? But I've been an independent artist for years now. So all of my knowledge is focused and centered around being an independent artist. So if you want to be an independent artist and you want that route, definitely grab that checklist, right? Because that checklist, like I said, is going to give you the 3 things. But another thing, and probably the most helpful thing that you could have if you want to start your own music business, be your own boss, and actually do all of that stuff yourself, is this book right here, The 13 Steps to Jumpstart Your Music Business. Now, I typically save mentioning this book usually I wait to the end of the video to talk about this book, but this book is very relevant to this part of the conversation right here, because in this book, I lay out all the 13 steps that I took to actually put myself in a position to leave my 9-to-5 job so that I could do music full time. I've been doing music for full time for years now, and the way I did it is through the steps that I have, the 13 steps that I have mentioned in this book, right? So if it is worth it to you, if you want to start today, if you want to start now, grab this book. Definitely grab the checklist first, see if you like the checklist, right? Because the checklist has 3 things that are in this book, but this book has all the rest of it. The checklist is just a preview of the book. So grab the checklist and do the things on the checklist. Then once you're ready for the next step, grab the book, because that will definitely help you get started now, right? Now, if you're not willing to start now, then maybe it's not worth it to you. If you haven't decided, if you don't like the independent route and you don't like the getting signed route, then maybe it's not worth it to you. If your why isn't strong enough, then maybe it's not worth it to you, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be worth it to you to seek a music career. You don't have to seek a music career and not make music. You can still make music and don't go after a music career. That's perfectly fine. I don't want you to feel like I'm telling you, oh, if you're not going after a music career, why are you making music? No. You could just make music as a hobby. You could continue to have fun with your music any way you want, right? That's perfectly fine. I know plenty of artists that literally makes music for a hobby. They don't need the career. They just love making music. That's perfectly fine. I have no qualms with that. And I love people who are like that. That's okay. You have your hobby. You love your hobby. Whether you make money from it or not, it doesn't matter to you. At the end of the day, you're just doing something that you truly, truly enjoy. And I get that, and I'm perfectly okay with that. But if you do want to have an actual music career, at the end of the day, you have to go through those questions and really think about those things before you can ultimately ask yourself, is it worth it to me or not? To really deal with all of that, everything that comes with it. because there is a lot to come with it. I just focus on the main questions that you really have to consider before you even get started with being an artist and actually seeking a music career, all right? But that's pretty much it, guys. That's what this video was about, all right? I hope that this video will help you get closer to your own answer when it comes to whether it's worth it or not for you, all right? And again, if it's worth it to you and you want to start as soon as possible, but you don't know how, grab this book here. It'll help you. I have it as an ebook and I have it as physical copies. It's available on my website. There's going to be a link in the bio for this as well. The 13 Steps to Jumpstart Your Music Business. All right, guys? But that's pretty much it, guys. Again, I hope this helps, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
I feel like Moses, big Moses. Yeah. Can nobody hold me? Yeah. Yeah. I'm feeling like Daniel, Big Daddy. Yeah. Can nobody face me? Yeah. I feel like Joe.